Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Star Wars Rebels Season 2, Episode 22, The Twilight of the Apprentice, Part 2, and I'm freaking stressed because this is the season finale and the first part of it was very stressful. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go!
The rumors are true. Darth Maul lives.
Formerly Darth. Now
Ahsoka didn't really react to that.
He's on our side.
perhaps my actions will speak louder than words.
I don't know that I do trust him though. I mean, I trust that he's against them. But they hadn't made Season 7 yet at this point, had they? Fuck.
The holocron. Do you have it?
You will find out soon enough.
What does he want with it? Bye, helicopter bitches.
What game?
Kanan, we should trust him. Look, he and I took this from the temple together. This is why we came here, right?
Ezra, I get it, I really do, but like, you don't know the full history of Maul, and I also think basically, Ezra is being too trusting right now, and they are being too set in the past. The thing is, we need to work with him, but we also need to be extraordinarily cautious about working with him.
Right? Yeah? Well, I say we go, so that settles it.
Are you such cowards that you would run from this chance to defeat your enemies, who slaughter your friends?
Are we prepared to defeat our enemies? Do we have the information we need to fight them?
How exciting. We're all on the same side.
Just show us how to get to the top.
Mm-hmm.
This way.
Wow.
Ezra's so trusting.
Two.
He's using you.
Are you ever gonna trust me to think for myself?
Oh,
To
but
follow my instincts?
I do
I
trust
know,
you.
sweetheart, but do you know the full history of Maul? We trust you, that's why we're doing this, partly because of trusting you. But the full history of everything he's done. I do agree that we need to do, right now, cautiously working with him is the path I would take. But Ezra, stop being quite distrusting, sweetheart.
You don't.
Fuck.
To get what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Look out!
Ezra!
Okay, Maul's good for something. No, I know he's probably is on our side, but he's ultimately on his own side.
We will meet again on the next terrace.
He'll be fine.
I mean, I trust in Ezra, but I just...
Because you taught him.
Oh. I'm just so stressed.
Kanan always said fighting is a last resort, not a first.
It should be.
You were given your gift for one reason.
Ezra, do not be swayed by Maul this quickly, though he's a young man, a little boy, a baby, growing and suffering. The easy route is the dark side. It's what scares me. Though I don't think he will go Anakin. Just having a good time? I'm not. Ezra's so brave.
Young one, use your anger, use your pain, let it fuel you. Fuel you.
Maul, fuck off. Like, help him fight, but stop trying to brainwash him.
I can't!
I respect Ezra.
Next time you hesitate like
He's a child.
friends,
Stop with this brainwashing, you bitch.
we must have
I know I'm gonna get comments about calling Maul a bitch. But why is he so bloody determined to brainwash Ezra into thinking like him?
I'll meet you at the top.
Oh, Ezra, I love you. Be safe. I'm still up for cautiously working with Maul, but I think he needs to calm down on the like evil life lessons. Oof. That was so dumb! Your lightsaber was clearly not strong enough to do a helicopter maneuver.
You mean my Apprentice.
Mm-hmm. I knew exactly what he was trying. Fucking hell! This is why it was keeping, like, a cautious working with him, but being ready for the betrayal.
Activating the temple, which I shall use to exact my revenge on all my enemies.
Working for himself first and foremost, of course. Ezra? You are strong, my love. Stay true to who you are. If it feels wrong, stop.
Knowledge is power.
Ezra?
There is nothing you can do to stop me.
Jesus. Kanan?
If you want to finish our fight, you'll have to deal with him first.
Kanan.
Go get Ezra!
Is that protecting him? His wounds? Can he not see? He can only hear and feel with the Force? Fuck. Kanan? Maul's not defeated. Oh, and of course fucking Vader's here.
Hear you. We need
The power to destroy life is at your command.
What? No! No, no, that's not what I wanted!
Baby.
Perhaps the other who approaches.
Kanan! Ahsoka! Maul tricked us! This temple's a weapon!
Can you get it out? Extra as ever, Anakin. I don't know, he'd be irritated by being called Anakin. He's just young. Oh, his lightsaber. Fix it.
Perhaps I was wrong.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh.
It was foretold that you would be here. Our long-awaited meeting has come at last.
Fuck.
I'm glad I gave you something to look forward to. Beginning to believe I knew who you were behind that mask. But it's impossible.
Oh,
My master
Ahsoka.
would never be as vile as you.
Fuck.
I need a lot more training.
You do, sweetheart, and you'll get it.
I can't let him get it.
I love you, sweetheart. You would never have succumbed to Maul.
It takes a master and an apprentice.
Kanan! Wait, what happened? Why are you wearing that? Kanan, your eyes.
Let's worry about that later. We've got to get that holocron out of here.
The bull! Ah!
I love them so much. Oh.
Coming as fast as we can.
Where's Vader?
Be ready to go. Oh, whoa! 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 No! 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 Kanan! It's him!
I know. I got you.
Fuck.
Ahsoka! Come on, hurry!
Run.
Ahsoka.
Fuck. Ahsoka!
I won't leave you. Not this time.
Then you will die.
Ahsoka!
Oh.
No! No!
Fuck. I know she survives. Fucking hell. This has been a finale. Oh.
There's nothing we can do now. It's over. It's over.
Ahsoka will be fine. I don't know quite how right now, but she will be. We will survive this and keep fighting. This bitch always survives. Oh, Ezra. So that was the most insane episode of the show yet. Best in so many ways. From Ahsoka and Vader together fighting, her realizing once and for all that it's definitely Anakin, to everything that happened with Maul. I did feel like he was probably going to betray us, but it was also like right now, with the options we have, cautiously working with him is the way to go. Obviously, it came at a very high cost, but I also think Kanan is strong and he is the Force and he's alive, and that is what matters right now. He's alive and surrounded by his family, and they all love him and they're all together, and he will be okay. I see. Right, so I kind of thought Kanan was going to have something happen to his eyes because of this. When you load up Rebels, this is the image. Like, boy, it should be them in season 1. Because look at this. His eyes, I guess Ezra's gonna grow up after everything that happened and cut his hair. Like, that's less of a surprise because, okay, Ezra gets a bit older and cuts his hair. But Kanan's eyes were just like that. Which is such a spoiler that something was gonna happen to them. I didn't know what or how. And, you know, I've been kind of waiting for it to happen, but it was still a shock when it happened. So Disney fixed that. There's them in season 1. That should be the background shot for Rebels. But oh, this episode was epic. It felt so much longer as well, because obviously Rebels episodes are only like 22 minutes long, but this one felt like an hour's worth of stuff happened in it. So yeah, like I was saying, Maul, I was expecting we couldn't trust him. It just depended how far our goals aligned with his, and obviously they didn't align very far at all. And he's just casual, like, oh, I was gonna go get myself an apprentice. Like, keep dreaming, bitch. I don't think Ezra would have fallen ever to Maul's dark side manipulation. I think there is definitely an argument to be had that the dark side is easier because you can just give into your anger and just go rah, and you know, you don't have boundaries and you don't have lines you don't cross. So in that sense, taking a vulnerable young mind, you can easily sway them to the dark side. I think with a lot of time, Ezra may well have ended up becoming susceptible to that. But as we have him right now, having been with Kanan and the crew for such a long time, knowing who he is deep down, Maul was dreaming if he thought Ezra was going to today just be like, cool, you killed my master, cool, I'm in the dark side now. Like, at most, he would have driven him to the dark side to avenge Kanan, which would have meant killing Maul, although I suppose would he have killed Kanan and Ahsoka and then been like, oh, Ezra, the mean Inquisitors came and killed them, I suppose was his plan. But yeah, it had pretty devastating effects for us, and he's still out there. As is always the way with Maul, you never see them. You're always like, this will be the back of him, and it never is. He's a very, very cool character and adversary, but I'm still just like, just die already. I have no idea where Maul's story will end. I assume we will come across him again in the next 2 seasons of Rebels, but I have no idea. He could still be out there, because the Ahsoka series, I believe, is after Rebels. I'm not looking at anything for Ahsoka or Andor, that's what it's called, right? Those shows, as far as I'm concerned, right now do not exist. Once I'm done with Rebels and Bad Batch, they will exist, and I'll be very excited about them. But right now, nope, if I see anything about them, I scroll. I have no information about them other than the fact that they exist. And I think Andor is about the guy from Rogue One, which I will rewatch before I watch Andor, because it has been a while. And Ahsoka is obviously about Ahsoka. That is all I know. That was intense. From just seeing yet again how far Ezra has come, how much he is growing, but also how young he still is. He is still a kid. And I think this episode, it's weird, I feel like this episode reminded him how young and how much training he needs to have, and how, you know, how young he still is. Well, it's also going to be the thing that spurs him to grow up quicker, which is awful, but also, given the life they're facing, it was going to happen anyway. Kind of, he doesn't want to be the child anymore, the one that is potentially a weak link or not strong enough. He wants to get stronger and stronger. Ahsoka, I guess she's doing alright. We know she survives, that's the important thing. And clearly they both survive. Is it kind of a end of Obi-Wan style parting? It's interesting. And for her in that moment when she truly, even at the end when she was like, I was beginning to think I knew who you were, but you cannot be, that cannot be who you are. And then when it was confirmed that it was, and her saying I won't leave you again, I hate the amount of guilt that Obi-Wan and Ahsoka both feel towards what happens to Anakin, because yes, they have a small share of the blame. I think Ahsoka's is even smaller than Obi-Wan's. But at the end of the day, it was Anakin's choice. And it was Palpatine's grooming. I do think, like, you know, had Anakin just been left alone, he may well have stayed in the light. But it was his own fault. But for Ahsoka, it's just going to drive her to do better in the future and to be better and to be wonderful. I know I've seen, obviously I guess we'll find out in the Ahsoka show, the fact that the Mandalorian episode she was in was titled The Jedi could suggest, and that she was hanging around with Luke so much, could suggest that at some point she's going to reclaim that title, but I also feel like it could just be Mando was looking for a Jedi, he found someone with lightsabers who fit the description, so the episode was called The Jedi. But yeah, oh, so good. From the Evil Killer Temple, we stopped Vader from getting it, though I suppose he's still going to want the... I was going to call it the Omicron. It is not as straight up the coronavirus. He's still going to want it. Holocron. Ezra seemed to open it, so did he open it the normal way to get the knowledge as we should have done? Yeah, this episode was devastating. It was a victory in the sense that we stopped the bad guys from getting their hands on what they wanted, but in so many other ways it was a loss. I think it was a real learning experience. It was one of those battles that is going to forever change the show, these characters, this family. But they have survived because Ahsoka has also survived, and they are going to be stronger going forwards because of it. I wish they didn't have to be, but they will be. And they're going to grow and love, and I'm so excited for the final 2 seasons. But it's getting scarier and scarier, and I'm very stressed. And thanks to this little one for his emotional support during the episode. Thank you for watching. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, 2 weeks in advance, edited version 1 week in advance, and once again, thank you so much for watching. I'm excited for season 3.